So I got a bright new light. We're going to see if this is good, if this is bad. We're just going to roll with it. I'm going to try to keep my head in the way of where it's reflecting off of the lovely pictures behind me. But it's been a month. I have progress to show. I've got some stash to show. I have plans to show. We have things to talk about. That is really bright on my glasses. Let's make it a little dimmer. Let's see what happens. New toy. Okay, let's see how this works. Well, by the time you guys see this, it will be February 1st. It is January 31st right now, the last day of January. The first thing I have to show you guys is my Ann Thomas, 1854. That is this beautiful piece that we've all seen from Hands Across the Sea. We may do this without glasses because that's even getting on my nerves. Hands Across the Sea. I am doing this on a piece of linen that I overdyed myself. I think I did this with some tan and some taupe together. Maybe some dark brown. I really don't remember. The day that I dyed this, I was playing and I was trying to cover up a piece of lavender. And I really didn't care what it looked like as long as it wasn't lavender anymore. So there's that. But this is what I ended up with. Now I'm going to have a good bit of this left over because this is pretty much the midpoint right here. So I'm going to have more of this to play with on this side. This is a fat half. This is where I got. Trying to see how much you guys can see. I think the light is nice for you guys being able to see color. It's fairly accurate. Some lovely over one there that tried to kill me. I'm doing this in the called for DMC. I have those on a couple of rings right here. Because, guys, if I were to buy this in silks, and I know some people did, more power to you. I got too much to stitch to be kitting everything up in silks. Plus, you guys know my feelings on silks anyway. It's just something about them. It's a tactile thing. It's not really my jam. I worked on this for a while because I was really into it. Let's just look at it again. Gosh, guys. She is pretty. There's a lot of people working on her right now. People are doing her on different fabrics. People are doing her in silks. People are doing her in cottons. If you are on Instagram, go check out Kelly, the Evergreen Needle. She is doing a conversion to some funkier colors. It's going to be really pretty. I actually have this in my Emily's House bag right now. Shh. Don't tell Stephanie. Okay. I also started on January 1st with Amy Baruch and Diana, Quaker Seasons of Friendship by Crown and Thistle, which is this picture. I'm sure you guys have seen the Gotta Have Friends Sal hashtag up on Facebook where lots of people are starting this. I bought a ton of classic Colorworks sticks and twigs. You can kind of see that color, see the variegation in it. Isn't that gorgeous? Wow. This light really shows color well, so that's what it looks like. So pretty. I don't remember what fabric I'm doing this on. Yes, I do. I am doing this on a 36 count Picture This Plus Ren. So Picture This Plus fabrics are much more mottled than a lot of those on the market, but Ren is one of their more lightly mottled neutrals. It's still mottled, and you can definitely see that, I'll give you some more view of it there. And some pieces are more modeled than others. That's going to be really pretty. Let's get some up close. I didn't get a lot done. I will get back to this, but I wanted to start with my girls, you know. Buster's wandering around. So I was going to film last night. That was the plan. My boss retired today. Last night, we all went out after work. Plan was go have one glass of wine, say goodbye, come home, film, have dinner with Jim. I looked nice yesterday too. I was in a really nice shirt. I had my hair all done. It was a thing. 4 glasses of wine later, Emily was home. 4 glasses of wine. This is how I went to work today. This was my hair at work. Plaid shirt, jeans. I didn't have court. It was what it was. So I'm not 20 anymore. I mean 21, because that's the legal age in the U.S. So of course that's the first time I ever had a drink in my life. I'm not 20 anymore. I can't hack it. So there's that. What I have worked on a lot of the month is Death by Cross Stitch. This is one I started years ago. I'm doing this on a piece of Picture This Plus Velt. You want it here, buddy? Come on. Come on. You're dying, I can tell. Doing this on a piece of Picture This Plus Velt. I am doing this with 3031. That's the DMC color for all of my borders. And I'm just picking colors as I go for the interiors. When I started this time, I had everything from here up done, and from here up. I've done all of this as I rub my chestal area, which is very awkward and strange. So it's really pretty. Once I'm done with it, I think I'm going to take down the picture I have on that wall right over there and put this up instead, because I love it so much and I want it in my living room, because this is one of the rooms, especially with this rug in here, we have a lot of color. I know it doesn't look like it looking behind me, but trust me, there's color. I mean, look at my pillows. So I think this would work well in here. Let's do, and people have asked me before, I don't remember what color I used where. I have no idea. And some of them is like thread somebody gave me, and so I just pull it out because I think it's kind of pretty. So this is where we are. I put this in, and right now I'm in the middle of stitching. There's still a thread and needle on here. In the middle of stitching some green in right here, and then I've got to do this little bit right here in between the lions, and then initials and some little dots. Kind of thinking about pulling out Gassed Brethren Blue and doing that middle part in my initials, and that's speaking to me. I don't know if I'll get that done this month or not. There's Buster camped out here beside me. He's just settled in. Also good news, in addition to the fancy light we have going on here, it also holds my phone. I found it cheap on Amazon, guys. You know, I'm not a big spender when it comes to stuff like this, but I wanted more light. I felt like it was important. But in addition to that, I also found an Amazon deal for an SD card for my phone, which means Emily can film for longer periods of time without my phone yelling at me and telling me it needs more space. Pretty excited about it. Let's show some haul. So I make project bags. Yeah, I haven't made a project bag. I think I really burned myself out doing the 2 big batches for Stephanie for the Emily's House sale. I have not sewn a bag since then. I owe a couple of people some custom orders, but thankfully they're friends. So, and it's about the only way I do custom orders. So they've been sitting on my sewing table for months. I've got to get this done. But because I haven't been sewing and I continue to start projects, I bought myself a couple of bags. Jen over at Quirks and Stitches, this is her fault. She showed this bag and I immediately went and sought out the Instagram, sought out her mother's Instagram, figured out the name of the Etsy shop. It was a rabbit hole, literally, that I went down. Rabbit. This is a nice bag. I like how funky it is. And I'm not gonna lie, this woman makes much nicer bags than me because like the seams are all on the inside and I'm not that fancy. Mine are like totally exposed because I barely know how to sew. This is so cute. Look at that. Look at the lining with the little mushrooms on it. And then this has like silk sari ribbon and a little mushroom. It's cute. Super cute. This is Vintage Owl Lady on Etsy. If I am wrong, I'm going to link her shop down below. For the work and the quality fabrics that these are, she has these very reasonably priced, in my opinion. I also bought this one because I had to have this with the coffins and the thread and the death head moth and the cauldron, the flowers. This needed to go home with me. And then the thistles on the inside. So pretty. I made a to-do list of things that I wanted to talk about during this video, and I don't remember where I put my to-do list. That's been the way my life has gone recently. With my boss retiring, there's a lot of change at work and a lot of extra stress, and I'm making it. I'm giving myself the same advice that I gave a friend who changed jobs recently, and she was questioning everything and how she would get through, and I'm like, just tunnel vision. Just, there is an end to this tunnel. Just push through until you get there. That's what I'm trying to do. So, there's that. What else did I buy? I bought some fabric. I haven't bought any charts. I've started kitting a lot of things and buying DMC, so I kind of want to show you those. But one of the things that I want to show you while I have this light is I have 5 pieces of Lakeside linens right here in front of me, and I want to kind of show them together so that you guys can maybe see differences in colors. Okay. So we've got 5 right here that are some of my favorites that Lakeside Linens does that I've been able to get my hands on. There are some I have yet to find. This one is Vintage Exemplar. Really like it. It's got a nice brown tone. Much darker than it, and a more expensive piece because it's a double dye, is Vintage Autumn Gold. Beautiful piece of fabric. And look at that luxurious modeling. I'm dropping stuff. So we have Exemplar and Vintage Autumn Gold. Let's just kind of compare things to Exemplar. This one is Vintage Pecan Butter. Exemplar Pecan Butter. It's a little lighter. Seems a little less mottled, maybe, but you know, that's piece by piece. I really like the Exemplar. And then this one, actually no one piece that I'm going to use it for. It's over here, Exemplar, and then this is Vintage Sand Dune. This has got a much more old sampler gold yellowed look to it. In fact, let's look at it next to the Vintage Autumn Gold. Vintage Autumn Gold, Sand Dune, Vintage Exemplar. And these are all vintages because that's my preference. I'm doing this because if you're like me and you don't have an LNS, do you know how many times I Google things that other people have stitched on linens and look, like Google with blog in the title, trying to find the most accurate image of a linen that I can find, because so many people refuse to put the DMC equivalent on their websites. If you own a store and you don't think about that people can't see the color in person, please put DMC equivalents, because you have people like me who have to drive 3 hours to an LNS or further. So I order, and sometimes I get stuff and I'm like, that is so not the color it looked like online. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. Now let's talk things that I'm kidding. I'm actually going through these pretty quickly. So, speaking of things that I get online that aren't what I expected, I ordered a piece of fabric for my Mary Slider sampler. I should have known better. It was a, what's the kind that's not Zweigart? Anyway, I ordered a piece of 35 count antique lamb's wool, whatever the brand is, linen, from 123 Stitch, big enough for Mary Slider. This says if you're going to use the paper that it has to be, it actually says here in big bold letters, must be stitched on 35 count linen. So I bought 35 count linen. That shit stood up by itself. You rubbed it against itself and it sounded like and felt like sandpaper. So I sent it back to 123 Stitch. They're great about refunds as long as it's within 30 days. They've already credited my account back. There's no way that was happening. That's the only thing I ever send back to them is fabric. And that's only the second time I've done it. But they're great with it. So I'm thinking, instead of using the cutouts, I may try my hand at freehand embroidery when I get to that point. And I'll just choose a piece of fabric that I love and just figure that shit out when I get there. Isn't that right, buddy? Buster got sick earlier. It's the first time in months. And I told Jim that I actually feel really bad because I feel like it's our fault. He is now on a steroid pill every other day. And that seems to keep everything happy. Last night when I was out with my friends, I usually give him the pill. I had told Jim he gets the pill on even numbered days this month. He didn't think about it. When he fed him, he didn't give it to him. Kind of feel like maybe that's why he threw up today. It's not Jim's fault. I should have told him. But I feel bad. Isn't that right, buddy? Mama feels bad. But he got a pill today. So anyway, Mary Slider. This is the DMC. I'm not sure what fabric I'll do it on. Don't know. But when I do, it's going to be very pretty. I'm going to, all of these that I just have like this on my DMC, I'm going to get them on my rings that I've gotten from Amazon. I've linked these in a video in the past. I will do so again. Oh yeah, my hair's red now. Different day, different hair color. I'll get these on the rings and I'll get it in a bag, and I plan on having a basket down here in my stitching area that's just stuff like this that's ready to go. Whenever the mood hits me, or whenever somebody's like, hey Emily, didn't you say you wanted to start Mary Slatter? Let's start that. Yeah girl, I'm ready. Or yeah boy, I'm ready. So I'll figure out what piece of fabric I'm gonna use for that. So this would be good to go. Where am I sticking this? I don't think I ever showed you guys this. Did I? Did I show you Descending Sun where it came in? Speaking of Lakeside Linens, this is vintage maple sugar. Kind of comparison, this is more pinky, mauve, purpley, and this is more of a gray khaki. This is vintage navy bean. This is one that's kitted and ready. What else is kitted and ready? This is one I'm going to start in March, definitely. This is one I'm going to do in the silks because Jim bought me the silks. And this is vintage cedar plank. So this is definitely more of a gray. In March, I talked about that I'm going to do a very scarlet birthday. It's going to be the hashtag. So I'm going to work on scarlet house pieces all month. In particular on March 1st. I'm going to start this, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So I will be starting this because it should not continue to stay in my stash when Jim so lovingly kitted it up for me with silks. So this will get started in March. This one I almost have kitted up. I got the Country Sampler floss conversion and got all of the threads for Jane Baxter where they primmed it up. Much more my speed. Much more my speed. I think I'm missing like 3 threads. There's a lot. So some of these I already had in stash. I just pulled them. I ordered a few and I'm missing a few. So I'll get there. This one feels perfect to do this vintage maple sugar with this because of these lavenders. Oh God, it's gonna be pretty. The lavenders that are in this kind of pull the mauve and purpley tones from this vintage maple sugar, and I think that's gonna be perfect for Jane Baxter. So when I start this, if you want to stitch along and you want to do it Emily C style, vintage maple sugar, country sampler conversion, Jane Baxter. I'm all about it. I'm really excited about that one. As soon as I can get the other threads, that one's going to get started. This is a small that I hopefully have ready to go. My problem with this one, let's see. It calls for gassed old hickory and chamomile. And the ones that I have aren't different enough. They're very similar. These two are chamomile and this is old hickory. So I'm probably going to pull the old hickory and keep the chamomile. Because everything calls for old hickory. I'll use it somewhere else. And use a little bit of a darker shade of something for this. And then I have the Buckeye Scarlet, which I know Jessie loves. And then this calls for a blue, this really vivid blue right here. But I had this in the stash, and it is Classic Colorworks Stormy Night. God, pretty that is. It's a beautiful, like, kind of antique. It's a pretty blue. Everybody, Classic Colorworks Stormy Night. Very pretty. I'm thinking I'm going to do this on a piece of Picture This Plus Heartland. Give me your thoughts on that. I'm not sold on Heartland. I think it'll be nice. I ordered this little piece of it because I wanted to know what Heartland looked like. And I think it'll be really pretty. So there's that. If you have not bought this, the proceeds from this are going to fire brigades in Australia. And, you know, it's like $13 US unless the conversion of the dollar is really different since I bought it. So, check it out. I'll Emily it up a bit because I don't do anything exactly as it's called. But Jane Marshall. Check that out. This is a Facebook group. Arena Weber. I'm sorry, honey, I'm probably totally modeling your name. I am a Southern girl from Georgia, and I have no idea how to pronounce your name at all. But there is a Facebook page for Cross Stitch Verbena, and basically she's doing a sale right now where if you sign up between now and sometime in February, she gives you one of her charts for free, and like that's going through May. So I chose this small one that I could actually finish, and she gave it to me for free because she's awesome. So go and check her out. Get one for free. Go buy another one. Support somebody who's really trying to get herself out there. You gotta support other stitches. You gotta support other women. Isn't that pretty? So I'm gonna start that. I have a problem. Today, I went to my local craft store, and what did I take? I took this, took my vintage sand dune, I took this chart. This is Charlotte Clayton, vintage sand dune. Pretty close to that. I love vintage sand dune for this. It's very pretty. This is Charlotte Clayton. This is a copy that I got from the attic a while ago. And I kept some of the colors and I darkened some of the colors. There were some pretty pink pinks in here. And the red I darkened. I put a gold in as well, because there was just this orange, but I also put in a gold because I felt like it needed it. But so that's going to be my Charlotte Clayton colors, which means it will be very similar to Nicole's and Nicole's needlework, because she also did hers on this fabric, but it's going to have some of the colors darker. Like, these colors are completely different. It was a bright red and pinks. I darkened up it was like 502 to 500. Some of the browns I darkened. One of the browns was 3772, which is, this is how much I work with DMC. 3772 is like a desert sand, but it actually looks very pink. So I turned it into one of these browns, where it's a more of a brown, or gray brown. But anyway, so I'm pretty excited to start that. I think it's gonna be really pretty. What else have I got? My birthday sale and Megan's birthday sale, and then we might talk a couple other things, and then that's it. So, March 1st, I am starting Salem Hill Sampler, and I hope to finish this during March for my birthday. I'm going to pull the colors, I don't know, sometime in the near future. The only one I've decided on is I'm pretty sure I want to use endive, gassed endive for the grass, because I think it's just the perfect grass color for a hill, because it's a nice earthy green, but it's not so dark that stuff gets lost in it. Now, fabric. I dug through my fabric last night because I was thinking about this, which is a color and cotton piece. It's a limited edition that was in their Halloween box. Not this last Halloween, but the one before. I didn't get the last Halloween box. And I thought, maybe this one. But then I saw a hunk of murky in there. Guys, do I want to do it on the color in cotton, or do I want to do it on murky? Give me your thoughts. Color in cotton or murky? Now that I'm holding it up here, I'm thinking maybe the color in cotton, or maybe the murky. I don't know. I don't know. In April, don't forget our dear Megan, our dear Stitching May. She wants to start this for her birthday. And she's one of my besties, so I gotta start it with her. So I gotta start figuring out what colors I'm using for this, because, you know, I only have like 3 months. 2 months. Shit. Yeah, I do need to get started on this. I gotta figure out some fabric and start pulling some colors. I'm not going to use the called for. I'm going to dig through my stash and see what I have, because this thing calls for a lot of different colors. And I actually, just for shits and giggles, I put them all in my cart. It was really expensive. It was really expensive. So, yeah, I'll be... Ooh, there's eyelet stitches in that peacock. I just noticed that. This one actually has been living at my desk at work. It somehow ended up there. And, well, of course, that's going to be... Look at that. Look at the eyelet stitches. And that's pretty. That's unique. So, be thinking about this if you want to join me for Megan's birthday. What else have I got? What else have we got, buddy? Best things. I've been continuing with skincare. Right now, I've been so super stressed out with work and stuff that I've got some breakouts happening, but that's stress. But I've been using like a double cleanse, using like a balm, and then, bust your hair, and then like a milk cleanser, and then I've been using a toner, and I really like facial oils. I've always had kind of oily skin, so I didn't think that was a thing that would make sense, but it does. But the oils, a lot of them are dry oils, which means they just absorb into your face and give it moisture. And they actually help you not be oily, which sounds nuts, but it works. I have actually been using, one of my favorite ones is a rosehip seed oil, which smells so earthy and nice on my skin, and I only use that at night because I like really zhuzh and oil it up, so that's good. But I've really gotten into that. Trying to cook more vegetables, which means I've made friends with my local Aldi. So they have really nice vegetables for cheap. In addition to that, you know, you gotta have your yin with your yang and balance your life out a bit. So I've been trying to eat more vegetables, and one of our good friends up in New Jersey reached out to me, and his daughter is selling Girl Scout cookies. So of course I bought Girl Scout cookies because you gotta support your Girl Scouts. So I did that. In fact, if you want to buy Girl Scout cookies and you're one of those people like me who, she's honestly the only Girl Scout I know, so of course I'm going to buy them because Girl Scout cookies are awesome. I'll put her link down below. Buy Girl Scout cookies. It would make this little girl's day. So, and she lives in New Jersey, So if you're New Jersey people, support your local New Jersey troop. I'm so glad it's Friday. I'm so glad it's Friday. I really need this weekend. I got a Stitch Fix box today, which means I will be trying that on and filming it probably tomorrow. I've already peeked, so I know what's in it. Haven't actually opened it yet, but I peeked through the checkout. I'm not sure if I'll like anything in it or not. I don't hate anything, but I didn't see anything in there where I'm like, that's the thing. But that's how I felt last time too, and I ended up loving one of the tops, so we'll see. Yeah. I'm going to wrap this up. I will see you guys, I'll say in 2 weeks. I'll definitely see you tomorrow for the Stitch Fix, but it'll probably be a month. My plans for February are to start some of the things, but I also want to pull out Leah Grinnell because she's got all that red in her, and I feel like she's perfect for February. And there was another, oh, Red Deer. I really want to pull Red Deer sample art back out and work on it again. And I'm working towards a finish on Death by Cross Stitch this year. So it's going to get some love probably every month. And it may very well be my Monogamous Mania piece. We'll see when I get there, but I'm thinking this year Monogamous Mania is going to be Death by Cross Stitch. So there's that, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about my haul. Let me know what you think about my whips. You know what fabric should do for this. See you guys later. Happy stitching and toodaloo.